awaiting what comes next. Second Cosmogram in the 2026 series, Stonehenge, 2002. The Stonehenge ribbons stand out not only for their shape, but above all for their precision of placement within the landscape and within time. They appear in a location already connected to solar cycles, reinforcing the idea of a dialogue between geometry, territory, sky, and us. This file is presented as the second clue in the series, Dialogue Through Cosmograms. Its purpose is to offer you lines of interpretation, so that you may, if you wish, rediscover for yourself some of the elements I have identified. These elements have gradually led me to consider the existence of a coherent writing system, one that goes far beyond simple land art or conventional human intervention. At this stage, you already have access to several lines of research, and you may have begun to notice that the future seems to play a particular role in this assembly of information and this space-time puzzle. For me, the challenge is not only to share results, but to transmit the clues that allowed me to follow this path in an attempt to show you how to look. It seems that those who communicate with us through crop circles follow a clear line. They do not change subjects every 5 minutes. This consistency is striking, and in a way, reassuring. In everyday human exchanges, conversations often scatter in all directions, reflecting the complexity of our own thoughts. The flow can be intense, and it is not always easy to maintain coherence or follow a logical thread. Here, on the contrary, there is continuity, like a well-structured and carefully delivered conference. Of course, other crop circles exist outside the main axis, forms of dialogue that may feel more personal to some. But the central thread, the one that concerns everyone, seems to point very clearly towards solar or stellar functioning. The geographical positioning of the formation supports this idea, with the Avebury-Silbury-Stonehenge line around which some of the most enigmatic cosmograms appear. These so-called megalithic sites serve to transmit knowledge to human generations across time. They were designed not to disappear, like a book in a burning library or beneath water. Between ultra-ephemeral formations and crops and ultra-persistent structures made of stone or earth, there is a strong contrast, almost a duality between proximity and distance. Here, at the turn of the millennium, which is not so far behind us, we seem very close in time and space to those who leave messages in the fields, and who appear to be initiating a highly encoded dialogue with us, without ever forcing or frightening us. In fact, this can be seen as a positive sign for us, given the current global situation, a state of conflict in which humanity has evolved since the dawn of time. While many still fear an end-of-the-world scenario in a Terminator-like narrative, it is still possible to consider something more reassuring in relation to crop circles. Imagine that you are observing a rare colony of ants at the edge of your garden. You decide to interact with this small microcosm, but you know that a bulldozer will arrive tomorrow and destroy everything. It is planned, there is a project, and yet you still choose to engage, to send signals, to attempt contact. Does that really make sense? It would be more logical to turn your attention to another colony elsewhere in the garden, in a more stable and protected environment, a beehive, for example. So in this story, are we the ants or the bees? For my part, I believe that we are the bees, because if we were the ants, it would mean that everything is already lost, that everything is going to disappear. And in that case, there would simply be no reason for this kind of interaction to exist. And I too would have no reason to spend so much time doing this work and trying to share with you what I have been able to glimpse in the phenomenon of crop circles. You may consider these cosmograms and these symbols as a message of hope. To be continued.